What's up, you wonderful people? I'm here for a video which is probably a little bit overdue. Truthfully, I've had a lot of shit going on, your boy's back at college, so I'm focusing on that for a little bit, and I've had a little bit of time for videos. But enough of excuses. You're here for what I call content in quotation marks. Well, basically, I figured the Waking Titan is kicking off and all this kind of galore, and I thought I'd put together a simple, easy to understand guide for all of you new players to understand. Now, if you didn't check it out, wapow! This is my beginner's guide to Waking Titan for Season 1. I didn't expect there to be a Season 2, but, well, here we are. I've done my research, I've got a fucking 6,000 word script, and I'm ready to kick some ass, so let's roll. For clarity, this video is going to be split up into 4 different sections. The first is Section 1, which is Season 1, which will be a brief overview of things that have already happened within the Waking Titan universe. It'll be really brief, it'll include Phase 1, 2, and 3 and all of the events within it. So yeah, it'll be really small. The next is for background and lore, including the characters and companies, just to catch you up before the Phase 4 recap. The third section is for the Phase 4 recap. Now, this is going to be a lot of detail. This has about 4,000 words in it, so I mean, I guess that's what you're here for. And the final section is for like content creators and like glyph passwords and extra stuff which you might need to know. If you want to skip something, all on the screen, you want to skip to a certain part, please skip it. Without further ado, here is Section 1. So Waking Titan Season 1 lasted over a span of around 4 months with constant puzzle solving, live drops and more. The initial phase, Phase 1, was accompanied by a website with 6 triangles directly in the middle. Each week, a new triangle will be unlocked with a certain date and radio station name to listen to. These triangles were known as sigils and the bottom icons were called glyphs. Now, listening to each advert each week gave us a password for each of the sigils alongside certain websites that were unlocked along the way, providing new clues and information about the ARG. Now, some websites gave clues to unlock the passwords for the glyphs. On screen is a handy guide to each of the passwords used in Phase 1. Now, Phase 1 was completed on July the 8th with a message from Elizabeth Layton, the CEO of the Atlas Foundation, one of the many companies used within the online game. Now, Phase 2 was the first introduction of the command line interface shown on the current Waking Titan page. For reference, every site mentioned will be in the description of this video. It includes commands like who will give a certain amount of text in response to a certain string being entered after it. For example, who is Korvax gave a little bit of lore regarding something within the No Man's Sky universe. Phase 2 also included another site called Project-WT, which had a sort of calibration test thing, so players could upload images of like objects, buildings, or locations to the site. This had players going around attempting to take pictures of things, whichever the Loop 16 asked for. Now, at the end of the phase, a Twitch stream took place, which showed a hamster, the one and only Mr. Noodles, and 5 different monitors, and a bunch of other random shit. Also included Bob. We all love Bob. Now, it had players asking questions which the players would answer in a Twitch chat, or it would include some other puzzles such as the maze game. Now, that's a bit of a tight topic. Phase 2 ended with Elizabeth Layton congratulating players on completing Phase 2 and to prepare for Phase 3. 3 glyphs were also solved, and the answers to them are on the screen now. Phase 3 was also, it was just very short and brief. It included a couple more interactive puzzles, but finally ended with the question from Loop 16 asking if they should exist. The community voted yes, and we received a thank you video. The stream then ended and players received emails from Waking Titan announced that it ended. A day later, we received a memo from Sean Murray, and Atlas Rises was released. Hooray! That was an extremely brief summary of 4 months of events. I just got way too close to my mic. But I need to catch up real quick. So we're now moving on to our second topic, which is the lore, characters, etc, etc. Now, Waking Titan includes a lot of companies and they have special relations to each other. The main company which sort of collects them all together is the Atlas Foundation, which is a company dedicated to finding the answers to our existence. They use cutting-edge physics, telecommunications, hypercomputing, and more. One of the first sites discovered was Echo-64, which is described as a custom cloud computing solution to bring the voices and personalities of those who you cared about back to life. Basically, Echo is trying to bring back dead relatives or friends with a custom AI. People related this site to its similarities with the Korvax Echoes in No Man's Sky. The next website you need to know is about Multiverse. Multiverse is dedicated to researching universal forces and how activity in a vacuum can be measured. Multiverse is more of a collection of ideas with research in many different fields. Another site is Myriad. It's based off a satellite cluster, and users can buy their very own satellites to break free from government snooping on them. Myriad is a very active site. It's actually being used between Season 1 and Season 2, which is the only site which is actually being used apart from Waking Titan. Superlumina is a group dedicated to transferring information through space and time. They're very successful in their efforts, and during Season 1, Superlumina seemed to have been hacked by an unknown entity. There have been many different research posts, all that can be viewed on their website. The final site is a brand new site called Wear. Now the Wear headset is a similar headset similar to like VR, but interacts through users through their dreams. In the current phase of Waking Titan, this is sort of the main hub for anything, with users accessing special developer access with codes given in the ARG, and obviously the next section will cover all of this. As of now, most of these sites have been locked by Loop 16 apart from Myriad and Wear, so they are not all used in the current season. The ARG also includes many characters which are important, the first being Elizabeth Layton, who is the CEO of the Atlas Foundation. She has been contacting members of the CSD, which is you guys. Elizabeth Layton is our main contact for the companies within the ARG. Another character is Major Sophie Dubois, who seems to be Elizabeth's helper. You will see her regularly sending messages to Elizabeth through the use of memos. In this season, Sophie Dubois doesn't seem to be very active, so I don't know if we're going to be seeing her much anymore. Now, Emily was first introduced to us through the eTalk Hub, an information site dedicated towards the ARG, now known by a different name which will be explained later. Emily was originally thought to be a helper towards the ARG. I thought this too. When I interviewed her on my channel, she produced a series of vlogs as well to help keep new players towards the ARG, except from when she went silent on the 5th of July. And then on the 21st of July, we had to wake up this entity known as Loop 16. And during a Turing test, a puzzle near the end of Phase 2, players had to make a Turing test for Loop 16 to answer, and during the questions, Loop 16 seems to answer a question, if they're male or female, and stuff like that, and they also have to respond to their name, which they respond to their name as Emily. In Phase 3, Loop 16 is definitely presented in a memo as a female, and one of the final memos ever sent out just confirmed that Loop 16 was Emily. Why the Atlas Foundation required Emily is completely unknown, but we do know that Loop 16 has gone rogue. Now, a little bit of backstory towards the ARG. We came across it by using tapes and a little bit of knowledge linking the two. For those that don't know, during the first season of Waking Titan, cassettes received by mods and community members that included special hints towards No Man's Sky, including like portals and all of that other jazz. There's 16 tapes in total, but we only have 9. I believe we have 9, I think so. And with this hint, we found links towards the ARG Waking Titan. The confirmation that the two were related, because back then, we were really on a stump whether they were related or not. Is that Cobra TV received one for a start, and secondly he basically received a bunch of No Man's Sky stuff with it, and the Atlas Foundation, so it sort of connected the two together. The ARG does have a lot to discover about the lore of No Man's Sky, so I do really recommend checking out the wiki for all of the console commands on the Who Is section, as it provides great snippets of lore. So Phase 4 of Waking Titan has seemingly completed due to recent events, so this gives me a chance to go over it in a hell of a lot of detail, but those are still confused. I'll be using sort of technical terms within the ARG, but I'll try and explain it as easy as to understand. Now, there is some parts which are really hard to understand, but I'll try and condense it down, because at the start of this, we sort of said that we wanted it to be harder than the first season, and I think a lot of people are regretting that. I'm not. I find it pretty cool, but a lot of people are. Now, Phase 4 started way back in December the 28th, with the Who Is command changing from What Is 1.5. Yeah, it just said hashtag What Is 1.5. The temp glyph was also activated, which linked to a Google Drive folder. All of the images in this folder are over infinity mirrors with the No Man's Sky logo. The files formed a hexadecimal code of MOIRRR, which is an anagram for mirror. Also, a note on a temp glyph is that at the back, you can see that the Atlas passes were being ready to be dispatched. Now, along comes January the 17th, and the very first Atlas passes arrived. The cards are of cardboard, with the CSD category and a hexadecimal for Phoenix wrote on it. Users collated all of their data into a handy spreadsheet made by Kaz, which can be accessed below. Now, for what it's worth, this data is not needed anymore, or so it seems, but it could be handy in the future. Now, on January the 20th, the status command updated to show downloading data for a phone number and 8 X's. The number gave SSTV data, which is on the screen now. If you sorted this data with the in order of precipitation, which is on the side, it gave the following text of Cafe Bene 19 Sat. The X's below also corresponded to Outro NYC, which is what Cafe Bene renamed to. Now, I've said this in a previous video, but Cafe Bene was used as a live drop location previously for Waking Titan. Now, this was definitely the first live drop of many, and Discord user Chris Kerrigan set out to meet the agent, but was involved into a traffic incident. If you want to hear more about that, I have an interview with Chris on my channel. The status command was updating repeatedly and gave the community 2 hours extra. Another member travelled out to meet the agent and was given a memo with a very distinctive book where we've seen before in Phase 1. Now, the agent told us we should be getting a lot of sleep and that being rested is important, which was the first hint to the clue on the back. The memo had REMS on it, which means REM sleep, which is the answer to the 10th glyph. And answering the 10th glyph gave players a bit.ly form, which asked them a bunch of questions and mentions a very peculiar lab called Lab 319. And after a hiatus, or hate us? I don't really know. Myriad updated on the 26th of March, which is a hell of a long time after the first update. It was hacked by Loop 16 since Phase 3, but it does mention that there's been a bunch of solar events messing with operations of the satellites. The status command also updated at this time and displayed this. It talks about a major malfunction, protecting the Monarch, and that all of their Tier 2 and 3 clients should be purged. It also tells the CSD to gather intel and regroup, and again, the CSD is us, the players. The command then updated again to show that the system was locked, and showed a hex string, which is a private key for an Ethereum cryptocurrency wallet, related to a new promotional event for Where, which we will speak about later. Later that night, Myriad updated again to show this. It speaks about major issues with a client called 3597B. After this, the status command updated to show the following on screen. The client started to disconnect one by one, and this gave us IPs and NAT types to connect to. Using the IPs in ranges of 52.2.248, we found 52.2.246.6, which led us to a website and Twitter of a Chinese company. This Twitter had an image which said shipping soon, and underneath this had a hex code which translates to want to know more. The hashtag #WhereTech, had 3 images by partner companies as well, which had hex translated to a bit.ly link to the Where website. If you subscribe to the Where email, you'll get another 3 characters of hex, which was 018, which formed another bit.ly link to the Where Discord. Members of the Where Discord started to receive tweets from a Twitter account which had 7 lines of hex, which translated to another Ethereum transaction. The username of his Twitter was also a pastebin, and gave another string which is on the screen. Inside the Ethereum transaction, there is also another pastebin link which gives another string, which is on screen, and I'm not going to read these out. Now, if you put these strings together, it's a private key for an Ethereum account, in which a Discord user was able to win some money from, and after solving, the Where admin said, "That was it for today. Good job on solving our community puzzle. You are good. Tomorrow, one of our partners will have a giveaway for us. We will have more for you this weekend." Or I don't really know what I was trying to do with the accent there. It sort of just came along. Anyway, at 9:20 PM, the Mercury command then updated to say, "Mercury process, build XXX. Ready to load branch version 1.5. Send password code in hex to Telegram Mercury HG80. Now, the puzzle included a riddle which was from the Descended from Night. I share my blood of nightmares. Look forward to the gates of horn and ivory. This gave us a clue of Greek mythology and dreams of nightmares. We found out that the Greek god Nyx, which led to one of her children, Morpheus, who was the god of dreams. Now, this name had to be converted to hex and then sent to the Telegram account. This was then posted on Twitter by Sean Murray, which basically said, like, "You've done it, well done." It had a hashtag of 11BST. This presumes something was coming at 11 AM BST. A quick side note is that Morpheus, one of the gods, I don't know if anyone knew this, but Morpheus is one of the code names for PlayStation VR, so it could be a hint towards that, I'm not too sure. Anyway, half an hour before 11 AM, Sean Murray announced a brand new update, No Man's Sky Next. I need to make a video on that. Anyway, I know that bit was a little bit confusing. Hopefully I've made it easy to understand. On April the 2nd at 23:30 UTC, the Where Discord admin came online to announce the new English website, the release of WhereCoin, and asking users to attend PAX East, hinting towards a possible live drop. The newsletter asked members to apply to the giveaway in the Discord and link to an application form to be a Where developer. On April the 8th, the status command updated with a link of an image of a map with satellites and the word Myriad. This was also the same day as the live drop of PAX. Users started to receive emails and details to locate where the Where agent will be. It gave a list of directions which are on the screen now. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I really don't understand this part, but basically using the coordinates and the emu path, it gave us a clear idea of where the agent might be, in between booth 17102 and 16105. Several users met up with the Where agent and were given USB drives. Each had an image and a text file. The images were jumbled pieces of text which all had to be overlaid, and if we did this, it gave us what seemed to be a bunch of random letters and numbers. However, we also seemed to get an email from the text included in the files, which was arnaud@philojus.com. I really hope I pronounced that right, because this next part includes a lot of French, and I really suck at French. This basically led us to a game studio, which is a French game studio, which releases games on the Where platform in July 2018. This is philojus.com. Now, using the credentials used, which is the username and password, which I've just said, to get into extranet.where-tech.cloud, which is the special developer area. You need to use the username and password, which are on screen. You can pause it and input it. Again, this site will be in the description. This page includes a lot of items such as a Where token wallet, documents, requesting supplies, and at the time all of these were unavailable. Now, the page did have a phone number for Arnaud, which when you called, it gave us voicemail.
Oui, bonjour, vous avez bien rejoint Arnaud Lacour, fondateur et CEO de Chi le jeu. Je ne suis pas disponible pour l'instant, mais laissez-moi vos informations et je vous rappellerai dans le plus bref délai. Merci beaucoup, au revoir.
The voicemail then changed to a message from Arnold's girlfriend announcing that the company has since been closed. On April 14th, users started to receive emails from Ware with more details on the dev kit, saying that we should enter to win a prize of $1,000. Now the deadline was April the 28th. The status command also updated again to give a bit.ly link to a female voice recording out a string of words, which were from the PGB word list, also known as the biometric word list, which was hinted at alongside the link in the status update. Each word had a hex value which linked to an animated GIF on Imgur. The developer dashboard has also been updating regularly, which is all plotted in a handy graph. These stats are not useful as of now, but again, they're good to track. Now, a quick disclaimer about this next part is it's really fucking long. So if you want to skip this part, an annotation will be on screen to just basically conclude the entire section. Basically, a little TLDR is there are a few live drops and a lot of puzzles. Now on April the 27th, the Documents and Task Manager section were unlocked on the extranet site, each linked to a set of specific tasks which we needed to solve. Each new task was going to be unlocked when we transferred funds from each developer sub-wallet to gain funds. We needed to send the correct solution to warelearn at ware-mail.cloud. Under the category called Introduction, the link titled 2018-0303 led to a corrupted image at St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. The other two images were called Notes on Locations, which gave hints towards the location. Another image was of a train ticket, which seemed to be from Mr. Zeng. The task manager gave us the idea of a first task titled Missing Employee. For reference, we are calling this part Alpha, and each part after this will have its own unique name. This is because the sub-wallets are called these names, basically. The description mentioned that Mr. Zeng has been missing for over a month, and that the description updated to say that Mr. Zeng needs to be brought home safely. A Twitter account was also set up called ware_rdev. If you sent an email with the keyword of Moscow in it, they replied with a map of Beijing, the subways from Beijing for the 7th conference. Now if you email back with the keywords Moscow, Beijing and 049245, the number from the notes and the locations we originally got, it gave another response with an alpha sub-wallet key. Moving on to beta now, and using the map of the train route Mr. Zeng used alongside hints in the documents, we figured out that Mr. Zeng left the train station at Gostiny Dom Shita 672040. Now, no idea if I said that shit right, but hey ho. Sending us information to the email gave us the beta sub-wallet key. Now we move on to Task Charlie, which is a journal entry by Mr. Zeng and a page of notes. The image of the notes contains 3 blanks and descriptions of paintings. If we fill in the blanks with the names of paintings found, we would complete the notes. If you sent the names of the paintings alongside the following text of A102AF, Montreal, 1:30 PM, meet me at the fountain in front of the Notre Dame Basilica to the email, we would gain the key for the sub-wallet Charlie. Now for our first live drop of the day, Operation Delta. This updated say that Ware was gaining a team to meet in a location of Place d'Armes in Montreal, opposite the fountain, between 7 to 9 PM local time. At the drop, players who received this note, which is on screen, this note led to a French nurse, Jean Mance, who arrived in New France after some Ursuline nuns came to Quebec and established a hospital called the Hotel du Montreal, sending us info to the email unlocked sub-wallet Delta. Echo was then unlocked, which gave this document with 2 circled notes on the screen. The task manager said that the search was still ongoing and to look inside the Dropbox. The password for this was determined through the circled notes, which was Gutenberg, who produced the very first Bible. The Dropbox contained 4 PDFs with printable hexaflexagon patterns. When folded each, it produced a 13-digit number starting with 978, which were ISBN numbers for 3 different books. Leftover numbers from the flexagons were also used as a book cipher, and the phrase of unknown British soldier was found, which links to the tomb of the unknown soldier, which was the correct phrase for the Echo sub-wallet. Holy shit, this entire part is a mouthful. We're on to Foxtrot now. We've unlocked Foxtrot using the flexagons and used it to determine a shape similar to the river scene in Louvre. If we sent Louvre to the email address, we got a code for the sub-wallet. The journal provided in this gave us underlined words, which when ordered in the correct phrase, gave a phone number by counting their positions. Now the phone number was 438-368-9126, which upon calling gave Morse code that translated to a paste bin with the following text. After this, it was time for Operation Golf, which was a brand new live drop in Paris. The live drop was at the entrance of a Passage du Souvenir near the stairs, which is in Paris, at 1 to 3 PM local time. Players were given another hexaflexagon puzzle and were told not to untape it. Now if we aligned it correctly, it revealed a location in Louvre. Using the information from the Foxtrot document, players found a sarcophagus of Ramesses III, with a depiction of the book Amduat. Sending his data to the email unlocked Golf. Now, hotel was solved by using the book we got earlier and finding the parchment of it, which was located in the British Museum in London, by the way, which is a really great place, one of my favourite places to go in London. Now, unlocking this gave us the sub-wallet code and also more documents and updates about Zeng. There was a briefcase in London near the museum and a journal entry from Zeng, which is on screen. It's Operation India time now, and using the data from the screen, the phrase former naval person is what Winston Churchill would sign off as in his private correspondence with Roosevelt. The text also speaks about Big Ben, which faces Parliament Square. Now, if you send Big Ben to the email, we get the key for India. This also announced a live drop in London from 1 to 3 PM outside the statue of Winston Churchill, which is again a bloody great place to visit. Juliet time now, and this is the first live drop in London where players were given a scrambled picture of the Thinker sculpture by Auguste Rodin, displayed at the Detroit Institute of Arts Museum. Using information about dreams and nightmares from what feels like ages ago, emailing Henry Fuseli the Nightmare 1781 to the email unlocked the code. This is a painting at the same institute. This also unlocked 3 different postcards which are on the screen now. Operation Kilo used these postcards from before and their locations, which were Mexico, Peru and Morocco. Each postcard had coordinates which led to Iraq, Pakistan and India. Now, if you connected all of these locations, you could sort of triangulate to Egypt. The postcards also had clues of monasteries, kings and TONW, which led to DL Media, an Egyptian village which name translates to the Monastery of the Kings. Using the village name unlocked the Kilo sub-wallet. This unlocked a document quoting the poem Botanical Garden, which is inscribed on the Nightmare painting found earlier, released in 1783. This also told us to go meet outside the museum at 6 to 8 PM to finish the last live drop. Lima, the last thing we need to solve. We're giving a small box with a digit code, and if we use the key 1783 from before, we unlocked the box and found 3 notes. These notes refer to a dream interpretation thing from ancient texts, one of which being Ramesside Dream Book. Emailing this unlocked the final code. Upon completing all of these, the request supply section was now unlocked, which also gave us Arnold's employee ID, which translated gives us the word Cassini. If we input this on Waking Titan console, it gives us this. Log recovered, iteration 4924A. The asteroid field was thick, denser than any I'd seen before. The ice, the dirt, the metal fragments. My ship never stood a chance. This feels like one of the quotes from those spinny structures in No Man's Sky, you know, the one with a big like circle. The status command finally updated with an injure link which was called memory fragments. The Where RDev Twitter also updated and thanked us and said Mr. Zeng was going to be apprehended. Now on May the 4th, users were emailed by Where announcing the 10 finalists of the developer kit and how to vote. It also mentioned that No Man's Sky was a partner of Where. On May the 12th, the 6 winners were as follows. Summon Studios and Stellar Software in joint first, I think I've said this right, Spectrumental Games in second, CSD Games in third, Imperium Interactive in fourth, and Game Detectives in fifth. The same day, the status command updated about files being locked, which mentions one file which is on Arnold's website. The image tells us about his condition and to send words of support to the email. If you email the address given, it gave you this in return. Thank you for reaching out to the Arnold Lacour's Foundation. All words of encouragement will be forwarded to Mr. Lacour's family. Geraldine Nadeau, Arnold Lacour's Foundation, Hotel D Hospital Research Institute, and then 438-368-9126. If you call a number which plays, it will speak about Arnold and also mentions the line, "History comes from memory," which is a riddle referencing Clip, the daughter of the goddess of memory. If you email Clip, you would get this in response. I'm not going to read it all out. It's on screen, but the main thing is that one of the sentences linked to a Dropbox folder which contained 2 images, one called Zeng's Note and the other one called Where Labs. Zeng's Note at a glance looks like someone just sat on their keyboard and basically just hoped for the best, but if you take out every second letter of each word, it gives this in response. Test subjects have been called in and a device has been used on them in ways that I could never condone. 7 of them are lost as we speak, 3 of them are dead, and 8 of them are being on the verge of being unrecoverable. Their intentions are not what we think, and their actions should be taken to shut them down. Exit. Every second letter accounts to the words lucid dream repeated over and over. Now, the Where Labs image contains data from 6 labs located around the world. The image is on screen now. Now, each of the letters in pairs are a first and last letter in Zeng's Note. For example, as you can see, DD1AE, the Berlin project name would mean Dead 8R, which was in the note before. Now, doing this for every single one, the following sequence was found. Looking at this, the middle number was then found to represent which letter of the middle word was important, as it always was less of the character count. So for example, again, DD1AE would mean that the first character of 8 is important, so E. Doing this over and over gave the word paste, HDTUIG8X, which led to a paste bin to a Dropbox containing 4 PDF files. The binary values on the project description were used to pick out words. The solution to all of them is now on screen. The project code was then used to pick out letters, so for example project code 4-3 relates to the word called has. This means that you pick out the 4th letter from called and the 3rd letter of has, giving you LS. The lab sequence was used to determine the correct order, so letters L and S are 10 and 3, T is 4 and 6, etc. If you reorder them all correctly, you would get another paste bin, this linking to Where Archives, which is a customer support log. May 15th was a good day for DevKit receivers, as their package was sent to be put in transit. However, an update after noted that the package had reduced in size by 1.3 kilograms, hinting that something had been removed. Shortly after this, the status command updated to a new memo from Elizabeth Layton, which is on screen now. This memo talks about the issue with where and that people being disconnected from the product face brain damage or even death. It also speaks about the issues with Myriad and Loop 16's functions. Another command has also been mentioned, which is precon007. The command gives us 4 bit.ly links, which are hard to make out. The first image is of a document of some sorts, with the second being a map, the third is a dev kit, and the fourth seems to be a hologram. Each image also has text which says the following. The first image, ETA unknown, the second, ETA 19th of May, image 3 says, is L plays gaming right, and the fourth, ETA unknown. A day later, and content creators and other members started to receive books from Hello Games. On May the 17th, all the glyphs activated on the Waking Titan website. On May the 18th, Myriad updated again with text speaking about a command center update and the ground speeds increasing. The precon command also updated to remove the first image from it. The same day, Loop 16 finally updated with time slots for certain text entries, so this was a command on the Waking Titan website. Each time it hit a certain time, the command updated with a new link to a bit.ly of a constellation with a star missing in each one. A table is on screen with each constellation and missing star. At the same time, a user called satcom-70 posted on the No Man's Sky subreddit with a thread called command.center.satcom CID185. This user's name linked to a brand new website called satcom-70.com, which linked to a command center. On May the 19th, the post was updated to a puzzle. Using the missing stars from above, we found the code ANNAETN, which is an anagram for antenna. Inputting this in the Waking Titan console gave us a new image. Unscrambling it told us to send a file name from the Wikipedia database ending in D97CO and send it to the post. The file name was found and a user commented on the post, which then updated to say a new command and paste bin link. The new command is ERPBIREL, which links to this image of a concept art of what seems to be dropships in No Man's Sky. The paste bin link from the support instructions part give us instructions to send data to Loop 16 and read one line from a Wikipedia page and send it to them by the 22nd of May. Now me being me, I was going to send in a voice recording of me talking about furries, but I guess I didn't. On May the 21st, users started to receive their dev kits as promised. It included a letter to Arnold from Dr. Nadu, a plastic hologram pyramid to display holograms, a phone and a charger. The phone had Skype installed and the login details were found in the Notes app, which gave each person a unique point of contact name. The phone also included a Myriad uplink app and different audio files which are all transcribed on the wiki. Now that part is very interesting, so definitely check it out when you get the chance. On May the 22nd, users started to receive Skype messages from Dr. Nadu. The Skype messages explain Anna's condition and the regular updates on it. On May the 25th/26th, the status command updated to the following shown on screen. The code below it is hex and says 1. Waiting instructions, 2. 10 out of 15, 3. A//010SEEB, and 4. Downloading data. The Imgur link was instructions on how to make your very own blacklight. A new Skype message came through at around 22:15 UTC and included a bunch of numbers to be translated. The numbers gave us 4 different links to paste bins, each containing different clues. The first being a clip link to the audio files that had not arrived on time from the other dev kits. The other 3 were Where medical records and gave us the task of trying to help fix Anna's condition. Throughout this time, users had to come and work together to come up with a medical plan which fit the documents and would not kill Arnold. We came up with this plan which is on screen now, and the dev kit holders confirmed it to the doctor. Shortly after, the doctor said Arnold was responding well to the treatment, and then the status command updated to say Cassini was completed. The gift passwords were all solved using the blacklight hint. One of the dev kits had a book cipher which linked to Cobra TV's book he received. We found the phrase "he who contains the entire universe," which links to the god Anu. This is the password for glyph 14. Now if you input this as a command in the Waking Titan terminal, it gave us the text, "Marked with honeycomb scars, I am the lowest of the low." All of the other passwords were solved by using the god names. The full list of glyph passwords will be at the end of the video. Either way, 3 of the glyph passwords gave us paste bins to a cipher. The status command then updated to show us an encryption method called blowfish. If you use this method on the code sent from the glyphs, you'll be able to complete the puzzle. This is the completed puzzle below. From my red soil, 4 times rises Vulcan. Marked with a honeycomb scars, I am the lowest of the low. High up in the dark, a rising panic. The hills I have conquered honor the lost, who preceded my journey. From these hills I can see the headless horseman's lair. With me came great openings. We also found out about a Myriad app during this time which required deployment codes. The website for this is uplink.satcom-70.com, but you must use the HTTPS version, otherwise you can't access it again. It will all be in the description for you. This gave us information on the Spirit rover that landed on Mars in 2004. The rover's codename was actually MER-A, which when input to the uplink-satcom-70 site gave us access to the website. After solving the glyphs, a user named Atlas-Loop16 uploaded a video on YouTube with a quote from the first submission received in the voice reconstruction we sent a while back. This video is available below. It basically shows us Emily and her gaining herself back from the meltdown she had in Phase 3. On May the 26th, a user called Atlas-Loop16 again started commenting on Reddit threads at 16-minute intervals. These quotes are lines from the Travelers in No Man's Sky, however they miss out one word from each phrase. Adding the missing words together gives us the phrase, "Tell them you have a direct line to Myriad." Now all the tasks were complete, the status command updated to say that this was launching the Mercury process, and the dev kit holders received a video called Mercury Part 1 of 3, which showed a hologram of a person in a spacesuit, which is believed to be the No Man's Sky player model. Later that day, we received an email from Old Gods, which contained a YouTube video of the CEO of Atlas Foundation speaking about the missing satellite SJ1602. She says that we should keep using the Uplink app and gather data about the satellite's location. Now for those of you that don't understand, you need to sync with the app when the satellite is near you. You can see this by using one of the websites which will be linked below, and once you see it approaching near your location, you simply sync. And that's really it. That is Phase 4. It was fucking long, and I probably messed up a lot, but I hope it helps. We're now just going to be moving on to a couple of extra snippets, and then I'm going to be finishing up. The final section is for things like other people you can follow. The first though is all of the glyph passwords thanks to the Discord. These are the glyph passwords you're going to need. Now places you can watch more content, you can go to the No Man's Sky god himself, Cobra TV, or other people like MZK who do a lot of videos on this. Galactic News Hubs make great videos too. Robot Boy also does quality content, and Kyle Carver is one of the best for these type of videos. There are many more, but these are just a few, again all linked below. To catch you up quickly, you can join the No Man's Sky Discord or Game Detective Discord, either one will help you catch up. Be sure to check the wiki, and that should be it. I'm going to get a drink. Peace. See you later, and I'll catch you all in the Discord. See ya.